Everyone. Let's see. Let me make sure I got this. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festus, and what else it may be. The idea is to have fun. Welcome. Hope you're having a good time today, and we're thankful for you being here. We just speak favor over your life today, and if you're traveling, we just speak safety to you, that your trip going and your trip return will be uninterrupted and will not be broken up. That's how the way to do it. So I think we got that. Let's see. I'm trying to get everything out of the way before we have a discussion today that I think I am going to enjoy our guest. Many of you know him. But first of all, Miss Trina, how are you?
Hi, Wayne. I'm wonderful. How about you?
Any better, I'd be guilty, but I was never that perfect to begin with. And we have a guest with us, and many of you people may have seen our guest, Kent Nichols. He's over on Brian's channel each weekend. I know he was with Jay Campbell as well. And so, Kent, it's good to have you. Welcome to A Second Look.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you. It's an honor, and I watch a lot of your work. I'm not always out in the limelight. I don't do a lot of chatting sometimes, but definitely the work that you do is awe-inspiring. It brings people into truth, whether they want to go there or not. Sometimes you got to drag them kicking and screaming, and I know all about that. My life has been just, I would say, supernaturally blessed ever since I was a kid. And, I probably for the last 10, 15 years is just really, really ramped up where, I barely even see the world in the programmed way at all anymore. We have to be part of it, but, we're outside of it once you really start to wake up and see what's real and what isn't real. So.
Well, I think we're going to bust some more paradigms today. I just want to say hello and thank you to all the moderators and so many. Hadley, hello from Cape Breton, I believe. Is it Breton? I think that may be correct. I hate messing up where people are from. There's Cajun Queen Tarot. Miss Lois, how are you doing? Happy holidays, my dear. Rob and Liberty. Well, there's just a full house. Pamela, good to see you. Richard, good to see you. Susan and all the rest of you. So, hey, thank you for being here. Folks, the panel we got going here, and I consider it to be a panel because, hello, Nina the Mystic. How are you doing, my dear? Joyce, are you serious? And Truth Seeker, Kate, so good to see everyone. So yesterday, I did a show on the Vatican, and I want to give the person who brought this out, Great Scott is that person's handle. And this was actually over on the WTF files. Good stuff. This is footage that was shot in the Vatican by the Vatican. I was part of a group that did a documentary back in the early 80s on the Vatican. So we won a number of Emmys on that. So I know a little bit about the Vatican and the mystery behind it. Bear with us, folks, because I want to bring this out to everybody's attention. And what I'm doing is actually queuing this up because I spent some time today, went into some of my software to be able to freeze some of this because what we have here is some really weird stuff. All right, I got it queued. I'm driving the bus. And y'all gave me the keys. I can't believe it, man.
They'll give the keys to all of us.
Ooh, boy, I'll tell you. I hope you're strapped in tight. All right, so big shout out to the WTF files in showing this. I left the link, by the way, over to his YouTube channel. So check this out, folks. We're going to have fun with this. We're going to spend a couple of times. So these are the bishops coming in. These are the cardinal bishops, folks. And who the hell do we have in the red robe? And I'm going to be stopping this, and so you'll be seeing it. I go back and replay. It's only about literally 21 seconds in totality of whatever that is. I don't know.
It's giving me the goosebumps, the chills. Like,
Folks,
ugh,
that is not human.
no.
That
that's not, or that's a really bad makeup.
Well, the thing about the red robe, that is, if you notice, all the bishops are wearing white.
Yeah.
And this cat is wearing red. And red is in the Vatican, it's a very high position. Now, what amazes me is that these bishops don't seem to be at all concerned about whatever that is. Maybe the Pope, back when we were talking about Sectarian Omega, maybe he converted one of them, and his species is represented here.
Yeah.
Comments, y'all?
Well,
I think you're spot on.
yeah, there is definitely, and I mean, it's so obvious that if you're in the know at all, that the Vatican and all of the major religions are, being influenced and run by non-human entities. I've been to the Vatican once. I went on a spiritual mission that I had no idea where I was going. I just took off to Europe, and I walked down the path of the Vatican, and I can tell, this might sound bizarre to people, but I had a couple of what I would classify as giant warrior angels with me, one on each side. And I actually went into the Vatican and I called down actually the Vatican, and I put them on warning that we are here to end some of their heinous crimes. And it was a really interesting experience, to say the least. And I've never been sicker than after I left there. The energy that the place tried to hit me with, they tried to take me out. But yeah, I've been on a lot of personal and private missions that people wouldn't believe if I told them. So.
Well, I think this begins to break some paradigms. Now, what I've done in here is that I went in and cropped this. So
Wayne, do you think it's an alien?
It is an alien.
That's what I was going to say. It looks like an alien, right?
I mean, it fits the definition.
Yeah. Because
It's
I noticed
bipedal.
too, it's smaller, and it's smaller than most of the other people.
Now, here we go, folks. So I've slowed this down to where literally it's pixelizing if I had the full screen. So we're cropped it here, and here's our creature.
Yeah, it's really hard to define what that even is.
Yeah, I mean, understand that this was just Vatican footage of a processional of bishops going into meeting with the Holy See. I mean, this is, and here I've stopped it so you can get what I've done is still frame this. There it is. That is the weirdest thing I have ever seen. And
that is crazy. It almost, to me, looks, I'm like, I need to get up on my big screen on my TV, but yeah, it feels almost to me like the goat energy.
It's weird. I mean, I almost, in one aspect, I look at this and I get the idea of a bovine, but then again, and its gait is exactly in step, but you can see it's a much shorter creature, whatever it is. Its eyes blink if you watch this. So wow. This is, I don't know what this is, but they don't seem to be concerned either. Again, I mean, it's
normal. Yeah, it's normal. They see this thing all the time.
I noticed something else when you were playing that video of the cardinals ahead. If you kind of go back in slow motion, you'll notice you can't see any of their eyes. All of their eyes actually in this video look like black holes or something like that. Like all of the people walking in front of that being.
Yeah, I mean, and here you can see the pixelization because now I'm trying to get it down to where we can really begin to see what this creature is. And it comes into really interesting focus right as you see it right here. There you go.
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, Put your own spin to it. And again, thank you to the WTF Files link below. And thank you for Great Scott pointing this out. So
That's crazy.
this brings in a lot of implication here. Because, well, I mean, it's kind of like, well, just pick whatever you want, I guess. But folks, there's life out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like to me, it's like confirmation that they don't worship the same gods that most people think they do.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I would like when I was looking at this last night and going into the single frames, and I'm just shaking my head because the thing blinks. It's just like a human.
Yeah.
It has that same effect. And so this brings up the point, wherever it came from. Number one, it's intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it apparently has an element of spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Would we say yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever type of spirituality they're practicing.
Well, now that, and that's the problem with that is because we define, remember I did the video that said, do you have to believe in a God to be spiritual?
I don't think so.
Listen, and that was kind of what the answers were. It was quiet.
Yeah. It's like, well, okay, what do you define God as?
Yeah.
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 It's like people have so many definitions now about God, and I think when you get down to the absolute truth of it, is God is undefinable, and there will never be a definition of it because it's energy.
And where is it required that you have to believe in a God?
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and then if that is the constant of everything, it's like you are that. So there's an equality there with that because you are one with it. It's just everything is upside down and backwards. And when you look at what's underneath the Vatican, the big alien god with the things, that big throne thing, when you see what sits directly underneath that, that's not human. So as above, so below. So they're showing you that this is what they're really worshiping. They're showing you the hidden truth because it's the below part, the hidden part. There's something big going on here with this.
Well,
and that being might be part of the God they worship. Yeah.
It actually kind of reminds me of that creepy thing in around the Vatican or whatever that's coming out behind the Pope. It kind of actually looks a little bit like that maybe if you kind of look at it.
Reptilian.
So, reptilian, yeah.
And that's what I was.
I said that on the show I was on with Trina the other day, that if you look at these the English language, if you look like reverse what an angel is and a legna and all of these references refer to reptilian savior beings and stuff like that. So it's kind of an interesting little study if you want to check it out. So
go ahead, Trina.
That was one of the first times that I really started to seriously go, oh my God, am I worshiping false idols because of my relationship? With the whole Lord thing my whole life was when I started to listening to reversed EVPs. Reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable, the things that are coming out of this. And it was mind blowing. And the lady who brought forth this information, poor thing, man, she got her butt kicked. Yeah. But she said that our language literally it's reversed.
Some say it was the reptilians that brought us rock and roll, because rock and roll in the early days, and it still has the effect on you. It's a harmonic that immediately takes over.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I literally saw a possession of a person by a band with Devil Driver was the name.
Hell, go watch the Beatles. I mean, what happened in Shea Stadium in 1964, I mean, folks, that was a phenomenon in sociology. In when you look at paleontologists, when they study past cultures, that's going to be one that you sit there going, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. I have a personal experience in that just to share in that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
I was in just a kind of like a pretty easygoing restaurant pub type place, and the live band got up, and the first song they started to play was the AC/DC Highway to Hell. And when the music started, these shadow being, they weren't too big, they were smaller than me, went out of the music. It's hard to explain. They came out of the frequency of the music in around the people that were within there, and they were literally looking to move in and host up with the people that were in the bar. They did not know at first that I could see them, but I could see them plainly. So when the one came to me, I looked it in the eyes and I rebuked them all, and it became aware that I could see it. And it was very startled that I could see this shadow being. And all of them, it's like they all kind of went to the middle of the room, and then they went back towards and kind of out through the band. It's really, and yeah, no, I've had the blessings of being able to see these entities in, because I think that they just work on a different frequency band, slightly off of our frequency band. And, that's what they do. I mean, certain alcohols. And,
yeah, that's why they call it spirits.
Things, they look to enter and utilize these meat suit modems that, that we have, basically take them over, or, block that person's consciousness or whatever they do to utilize this same meat suit modem. So
yeah, can I share something with you guys? I have kind of a cool story to talk about with that too. A little bit different, but on the same path. I was working with this one girl who was in a relationship with this guy, and she was claiming that he was able to possess her, and she was making all these radical claims. He could throw fire from his hand, all this radical stuff. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. So I was working with her and helped her get her shield back up and get her stuff going. And she was like, I need to get away from this guy or whatever, because she just said it was just crazy, the energy and the things he could do and the things that were happening to her. She was kind of freaking out. So got her under control, and she got away from him. Well, he wanted to talk to me because I think he wanted to know how I was able to break whatever he had over her. So I was a little bit hesitant, but I was like, fine. So I get on the phone with this guy, and he's like, you know what I can do, right? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, how did you do that? And I was like, I just reversed your magic. And he was just like silent for a minute. He goes, how do you know what you know? I said, I don't know what I know. I just wait and listen, and I know that I'll be given what I need when I need it. Absolutely. He was kind of silent again. And he started throwing some energies at me, some pretty hard energies. So I had to literally start doing my work and getting my battle going. And all of a sudden, I saw him bring in 3 old beings, females. And I swear to you, they were the fates. He was working directly with the fates. And it was so funny because I could hear them and I could see them. And when they realized that I could hear them and I could see them, that did not make them happy.
I can see why. Yeah,
at all. So I just stood my ground, and I was just like, this is over, and there's going to be no exchange between any of us, because I'm not in this game. I said, but yes, there are those of us who can protect, and there are those of us who can see. I said, so you do.
Yeah, and
we'll do ours.
It's evident, even in the Christian faith. I mean, they have that under the gifts of the Spirit. Those that can see, they have the gift of what they call the gift of the Spirit, where they can literally see in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
And, you look back on man, our species, I contend, had that natural ability. I think way back when both worlds, I think they coexisted.
Well, when we were little kids, when we could do this, when we were little kids, we just don't remember. But you literally could see when you were a child.
Well, yeah.
Well, in your study that you just did on, you know, King Og and, you know, the Book of Og, I mean, these are the dark ones that we're talking around about. That's what these are. And, you know, I've experienced them and battled with them on multiple times. Like, I mean, I could write a book on it. So
you should because, well, Kent, I'm glad you brought that up, because here's the thing, you know, that book, for whatever you want to say for its origins, I really don't care. It's a story. I mean, I grew up on the Bible, and that's a story about a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And so these dark ones, you know, they didn't go. I mean, and they were dealing on a level. Remember what the Pope said, that these beings exist on a flat plane?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, well,
which is just fourth dimension.
Well, precisely.
I've always felt we're in planes in my heart, like that's in dimensional planes. So.
Yeah. It's the only thing that can make sense. And those who are sensitive enough, like yourself, Kent, and let me just digress here. So I've been on my own since the age of 15, and there was a time when I lived in a house that a church sponsored, and there were only men only, and these guys were studying for their doctoral degree. Why they put a hippie in there like me, I don't know, but they did. And so there was one gentleman in there, I still remember him to this day. His name was Ray. And Ray had the most unusual gift. He could literally see the battles of both positive, negative energies taking place.
Mm-hmm. I could see that too.
And here's the sad story. He ended up committing suicide.
Yeah.
He couldn't handle it. Yeah.
I tried to do it at 13.
He didn't have a proper control over it, probably. Like witnessing it opened him up like to maybe the darker side, and he didn't understand that he
How old was he?
Repel from him, maybe.
As I look back, Ray was in his early 30s, and I really got off talking to the dude because I was dropping LSD at the time, and hearing his conversations, I could see what he was seeing. Yeah. I mean, and he was telling me, he says, "Do you see that one up there?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." He says, "That one comes from," he said, "a dark place over there."
Right.
And I went, anyway, so rolling back into where these dark ones went.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting.
I wonder if in that time with Og, with the Rephium and Nephilim and the giants and stuff like that, if the dark ones weren't on a closer frequency to material, so they were, you know, which part of this to me is why we have the religions and stuff like that. They're trying to reopen as many of these kind of dark one portals, like to merge the two together again. It's hard, you know. You really have to just go on what comes through your heart, your deeper understandings of things, you know, like even when you're reading, to try to read between the lines, because I mean, obviously the world is so convoluted and so turned upside down right now. And, you know, as you say, like all of these religions are technically the same, and they're all actually worshiping those probably those type of entities that you're seeing with the Pope right there. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You know what also, folks, what it also, to me, because when I was writing, you know, you're rewriting the book literally. And as you're writing this, it became very evident to me that there must have been a symbiotic relationship between these dark ones and these Rephium, and even with the Nephilim.
Yes.
And if the smaller selves were amongst the giants, doesn't it not stand to reason that would not the smaller selves have almost the same type of symbiotic relationship?
Yes.
That's what I was seeing. Yeah. I was like,
it's a matter of choice.
I was seeing like maybe the little selves are like fractals out of those giants. Fractals.
I think there's a lot to that, Miss Trina. I do.
And I was like, so it's just like, cats make cats, dogs make dogs. We're going to be fractals from that which we're fractaling from. And then when you drop that whole break the genetic lineage of the light bearer, oh, whoa.
Have y'all seen?
God, my mind almost exploded on that because I was confirmation on so many levels.
You speak of fractals. We were watching the movie The Wrath of the Titans, and it was a really interesting movie because the gods said this to Perseus. He said, humans have a place to go when they die, but gods only go into oblivion.
Whoa.
I mean, I wrote that down and I said, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and here's a point of view on it too. And from any ancient texts, or if you want to look, obviously these gods, they require us. They're lacking something. It's very obvious. I mean, that's why they set up these major deceptions, because if they didn't require that, why would they bother with it? And I don't feel it's that way in every plane, or every realm, but within this realm, within the realm that these particular gods, we call them, they are almost vampiric. They are energy. They look to steal energy. They look to steal things because for whatever reason, they are lacking, whether you call it the divine spark. I know these words that we use are limiting, within the language are limited, but to just kind of understand that we have that. We are like kind of like the true essence, the true extension of natural source. And that's why you see so much artificial here. You see so much technology here. And everything is set up within structure, like they require us to follow the government structure, the religious structure, all of these. The best thing that we can understand as what we are is that we have to let go of all of those structures to be who and what we truly are again. Like you can understand their game, but the key is to move away from their game, to not be controlled by it any longer. And, like I sometimes look at us as, escaping this construct is much as changing this construct. So,
I often think that when we begin the transition from the physical plane back to where I think we originate from, it's going to be interesting. I was meditating on this last night. It was weird because now when people talk about passing over, they say that there's a light, there's a pull, there's an energy. And the question I'm asking myself now, with what we know, I mean, my question is, who's doing the pulling? Where's the energy come? And why is it that it's necessary for me to go back to what they say is this portal of light? I mean, can you say no?
I think you can say no.
I think so too. I think that's why we have poltergeists.
Yes. Yeah. I think those might just be crazy radical energies that might not ever have even had bodies before, because they're just mischievous little boogers.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're mischievous little
Are
boogers.
those part of the dark ones? I mean, that's the question I'm asking. It seems like humanity will not focus in on what I think is potentially something that's staring us right in the face. And how better to have a victim, a subject, a host who doesn't believe in you.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you would actually operate with immunity.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I think if anybody really wants to look at it just from a basic common sense logical point of view, even at the beginning of this video, when you showed those cardinals all walking with their stupid hats on and their hands, and they're all in sequence like that, if that looks like personal spiritual growth freedom to you, I mean, I ain't going that way. I'll take another route no matter where it lands me. So.
All I got to say is run like hell, baby.
Exactly.
Oh, because I can guarantee you that don't look good. I do.
No,
I mean,
don't look
Not
good.
one of them look happy.
No, that's just it. They look like they're in mourning.
They look like they're either scared to death of what just happened or what's going to happen.
I think someone said, looks like they're going in to be sacrificed. Well, that's a
Yeah,
good.
they look like they're going, oh,
Very
shit.
well could be.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, here we go, man. They told me when I was a kid this might happen, but I didn't believe them. And who the hell is that behind us? That's what I'd be thinking about. The guy in front going, you can see it's going, what the what?
Yeah. If ever found in that situation, in life, turn right or turn left immediately.
Closest exit.
Oh my goodness.
Directly to the exit.
That's it. Closest exit.
Folks. Oh. Elvis has left the building. He says, I'm going to tell you what, Mama. Not this lifetime, not the one coming,
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. But, on a serious point, I mean, it's so often has been said that the truth is right in front of us.
It is.
We just don't see it. I mean, with your gifting of seeing into the spirit realm, personally, I think everyone should have that. I mean, it's a tactical advantage.
I got a really simple thing and don't get me wrong, I'm not claiming that I'm an expert at this, but as we talk about spirit guides or, protector beings that are working with us, it's really been put on to me for this upcoming year that, it really being put on to me about if we just go into the natural, like more natural eating, more, to be around what the closest to natural that we can get within this matrix structure, it brings our gifts back naturally to us, meditation is a natural state.
Mm-hmm.
The food and all of these things, it just kind of awakens us up. The more we reject the programming, the more these things just naturally return to us because they're already there. They've been blocked. Like most of this stuff that, that comes through the foods and through everything, that's what it's doing. It's just blocking your natural spiritual abilities. At the end of the day, they don't give a crap about money and they don't give a crap about all of this other stuff that we think it's about. That's just a means of control. But they do want to block your spiritual abilities because the more that because when I have, and it took some learning and it took some things to battle back against these dark ones and this and that. But when you do, and you exercise your authority over them, it's like you are so much more powerful than them. It's hard to even put it into description, especially in a couple of my experiences that I've had when I've almost been out of body, and you have so much power, and they're literally just keeping you within these programs of religion, government, schooling, and all these things, so that you're not focusing on what you truly are. So that the more we can get rid of that and focus on what you truly are, your inward you, then you're going to be, every little step that you do to take to there actually opens you up more to who you are. So
yeah.
You want to say something, Trina?
I think that is the most powerful. That's it, Kent. You nailed it. It's like, I think that is our ultimate work right now, is remembering. Bringing back the parts of us that are sleeping and lost and forgotten. We need to start to remember our codes, our DNA, our light, the universe right now is supporting us. It's bringing in this light force. So we need to start to bring it in. We need to awaken our trauma. We need to deal with our trauma. We need to learn how to communicate with the part of our mind that we don't have access to, the subconscious fields. There's wisdom in there, treasures to behold. This is how we start to regain our remembering, because once you start to do this practice and you start clearing enough stuff from your consciousness, you literally can start to balance pretty effortlessly between both at the same time. Like I can hear all the time while I'm speaking to you. I can hear it blends, and I think that's the marriage they speak of in the Bible. You marry the two. So being the spiritual it's about remembering how to use your brain, how to use your heart, how to be a conscious creator, consciously saying, I don't like what I see, so I'm going to use my imagination and I'm going to screw this reality. I'm going to make my own. It's time for us to really understand we are that powerful.
Yeah. Speak to yourself, speak truth to yourself. Ask to yourself what you want to know. And then
and learn.
You'll be amazed at what just starts to manifest,
We need to remember.
I find as well, I cover what one person said, very dark knowledge. And I went, well, no, not necessarily. What we cover here sometimes, like, the Solomon's magic. I mean, that was some weird stuff. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
A lot of it is dark, but you have to understand your enemy.
How else do you know what are you going to be shadow boxing?
That's what I mean.
That is it.
It's like, someone slapping you and you look back and you got your hand and you go, what?
Right.
Yeah.
We need to know what we're coming up against to fully be armed against it.
Yeah. And obviously these beings, they have served a purpose. I contend that they're still here. I think Earth is this freaking depot of, I mean,
I'm with you. It is. There's a lot of stuff going on here for sure.
I like that Daffy Duck meme that he's walking off pissed and he says, well, it's pretty damn evident that whoever dropped these idiots off ain't coming back for them, and sometimes, I mean, my wife was out today and she said, people are they're just bat crap crazy. I mean, they're doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Remember, Wayne, you said that the magnetics and the light, for most of the time, it makes people go crazy.
Yeah.
I think this light, I think the last time that we got wiped with the major energy light exchange thing, it literally did scramble our brains. But I don't think this one is scrambling our brains. I think this one's going to unlock our chains. And that's still going to make people go cuckoo.
And let's tie science into this, because this is what I like, because the two are a blend. So now there is and I guess you could call it a theory until it hits, but there's evidence of what they call the galactic sheet. And this is a sheet of energy that has originated from the center of the galaxy. And when you get hit with one of these, things begin to happen.
That is exactly what I saw when I was a kid, Wayne. They showed me that a pulse came out of the galactic central sun in the center of our universe, and it went boom, and it pulsed. And when that light hit us, it started to change everything.
Well, who was it? I was watching on Brian's show, someone talked about the different colors of the sun. Yeah. Well, actually, you go back, and if you study in the Mesoamerican legends, that's the Inca, the Mayans, they will tell you, and I think it was in fact the Mayans, in their celestial charting, the sun did have 5 colors to it.
Wow.
And each one of the colors of the sun represent a particular, what is it that they call theirs I think the word mantra, but it's not. And that color of the sun impacts that cycle of what the earth is going through.
Wow.
Right.
Yep.
That makes so much sense.
How our auras work,
Yes. And the chakras.
Yep.
I'm seeing the connection to the energy body, the chakra wheels, the sun going into the different color spectrums to activate and charge that part of our solar body, and it activates nature and brings the codes for harvest, seed time, harvest time, plant time. Wow, that's profound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, the sun had colors.
Yep. And it gets even stranger when you look at the Jupiter and the whole thing with Jupiter. Yeah. And, in fact, how coincidence, I think it's this weekend, or maybe it's next week. In fact, we'll be in alignment with Jupiter, the sun, and Earth.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That might be powerful.
I would say it's no coincidence that that'll probably bring some type of energy.
It always does. I mean, they talk about, when Mercury's in retrograde, right?
Yeah.
People always say if something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong when Mercury typically. And you know what? I think retrogrades suck.
I do too. Yeah.
I mean, there's some things in the past you just got to leave in the past.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy too. Like if you're trying to manifest things in retrogrades, oh man, you got to be careful with that, because if they hit, sometimes they hit and then they flip backwards on you.
It's a boomerang. It's a boomerang. I mean, it really is. Yeah. I tell people, don't curse yourself, people you love, or even the people you don't meet. I mean, because it's a psychic boomerang. It's going to come back. Always comes back.
It does always come back. You're right. And that's the whole, that's why, projecting love, like unconditional love, not controlling love or something like that. But that's, that's the best that you can do. Literally sending energy out to, I kind of refer to us as the children, but, it's because I don't really have a way to explain it. But, it's important for us to send that out, that understanding, that unconditional love for whatever it may be, which is what you always do, at every show, when you're speaking, favor onto everyone. And because I mentioned this before with Trina, and we've talked about this. You see, we learn together, not just by speaking and hearing. This is just a language. My learning, my vibration, my everything is going to you. Wherever you are, like you're in Denver, I'm in BC, Canada, and Trina's in. But the true children that are within this construct, we are communicating together. And so as we learn something, we all learn something if you're open enough to understand that. That's why, and kudos to you, Wayne. I mean, I don't know how much, time and energy and everything that you put in to these presentations, and they're so valuable. And even if we're not 100% on in every one, they're leading us to our truths and our understandings and our growth, because we have to grow and understand away from the mainstream programming. And we don't have to worry about the other, beings of truth that are here, because you know what, we're going to just naturally flow over to it to learn our and this. And I really do tip my hat to you.
Thank you.
We never really talked, and I mean, Trina knows me a little bit. I do a lot of work, and I've helped you a lot, even.
Thank you, sir.
So it's just you just know who we are, just in your heart, just like when you talk about the community on here, and that's a good message going into the new year. Speaking
of the heart, my heart is being drawn to share this message. Conscious evolutionary energy arts, or whatever. There's a couple channels right now that are wanting to help get the fires to go out in Australia. What a beautiful Christmas present to Mother Earth, is to help stop the scorching of her skin.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe we could all just take a little time and focus on some rain in Australia, but gentle rain, because if we all focus on a lot of rain, we might get Noah's flood. So gentle rain. We are that powerful. So.
The Aussies will be calling us up going, what the hell did you people do?
Right?
Well, we thought we'd just kind of help,
Yes, but please, guys, let's send a little love to Australia, because she's burning.
Yeah, and we have a lot of people from down under. We have, I know, And now I'm just,
Julianne
the
Payne,
names
Amanda
come right out. You're going, okay. Julianne Payne,
Yeah, Amanda
you
B.
know, yep. There's just a
Yeah,
number of them. And so
yeah.
we send you folks cool, refreshing
Gentle rain.
rain.
Gentle rain.
Absolutely.
You know, when I said that, I always think of Roger Daltrey in the Quadrophenia, you know, love, rain on me.
Oh yeah.
Love, rain on. So what we're speaking is that rain coming down.
With
Absolutely.
Yeah.
love. Wow.
Yeah. Love. I mean,
Beautiful.
you know, I tell you, and I'll share something too, as we get into 2020 and we all fight spiritual battles, and that's an everyday reality. But I like how you brought this out, Kent, that there is a protection. And it's interesting when you give attention to the fact that that protection is around you. I speak to the beings. When I moved here, I took and I walked around this property, and I called them my angels, but they're really my guards. And they're still at duty around my property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spiritual protection works all of the time. So that's the thing to understand about it. And, you know, there is no harm in talking and communicating in you know, this type of thing. I mean, I send spiritual protectors out to different people all the time, every day, on a daily basis, especially before I go to sleep and I wake up when I'm calm, because, you know, you hear it, you hear the messages coming through to where, you know, it's needed or required. And, you know, once I do that too, I don't tend to harp on it for too much longer. I just know it, and you know that it's on its way. And you know, sometimes, as hard as this sounds, because we've all been through this, some of us are going through hard times right now, and especially when you're new into these awakenings, and they don't really 100% stop. But one thing for you to understand is sometimes allow your protection, allow it to take you through this. Don't get too worried about it. You could be losing your job, you could be getting thrown around. You know, you'll see the reasoning for it down the road. You know, you might be learning something hard so that you know what hard is to come in a different direction. And believe you me, we have all been there. I can contend that probably all three of us have, you know, been through the, you know, the suicidal feelings, the breaking out of that shell. We've been put down. I mean, I've had my house robbed, all my cars robbed, all of these things robbed. And I'll tell you what, if you can wake up the next day and just realize, okay, this is clearing me for my journey, because this material is only just material. It really actually is. And so, you know, sometimes the enemy, whatever that may be, is going to attack at those things. And sometimes it may even be allowed just so that you can understand a newer, deeper principle of things. I'll tell you, one time after I went through a real major, one of those major spiritual battle, I was getting attacked by these beings, like, you know, for months on end. But boy, did I ever grow in my spiritual understanding of how to work with the protector beings around me and stuff like that. And, you know, I got the coolest things from it. Shortly after this period of time, I was out, and, you know, just crazy stuff was happening. Like a bird died in front of me, hit the window, was down. I was able to just pick it up, look at it, talk to it, brought it back to life, put it down. You know, these miracles will happen when you let go of what you think is real in this world and then come into what actually is real. You know, all these miracles and all these, like, don't give in to the saviors. We don't require a savior. You're the savior. I'm the savior. Wayne's the savior. But none of us are the savior. You're your own savior within you. You have you have every spiritual gift. It's just when they awaken is when they awaken, you know?
Yeah. I think it is true though. What you do with that wisdom, either it will save you or it will slay you.
Ooh,
But it's all
I
you.
like that.
And it's you though. So you're going to be the one whipping your own butt, or you're going to be the one patting your own back, but it's going to boil down to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share one little gift that for all of you who face these demons, these dark ones that speak to you, start laughing.
Yeah, tell them to shut up too.
You know, I literally, you laugh at them and I mock them. Really, I do. And they don't like that. They kind of, you know, they're egotistical little pricks, you know.
I think they're attached to our ego.
Yes, they sure are.
You know, and I'm sure there's some bitches in there too, but you know, I'm just saying, I want to make sure I cover the full gamut. So anyway, such language.
And it's pretty easy to see what their true personalities are like when you look at kind of like the mainstream, you know, artists and stuff, you know, that are being pushed out today, just to see that ego and everything through them. Because I mean, these are the beings that are allowing themselves to have the dark ones to work through them. So, you know, so, and you don't need, we don't need that. You know, there's nothing in this realm worth giving away who you are for. Nothing. So,
well, we come in naked and we're leaving naked.
Exactly.
You ain't bringing any of it with you. You know? And I'll just tell you this about wealth. The thing about wealth is that typically it's not the person so much that generated that enjoys it. It's his or her heirs. They spend it like, you know, hey, windfall, you know. So remember that, you know, don't get hung up on it. You know, you know, it's just well, we're getting close here. So this is, I have to say, I'm going to have you back on. I'll have you on regularly. I think this is a good, like your point of views, and I like where your spirit's at. You know, I contend, Trina, what we found out last week about each of us being the light bearer.
Yeah,
that is revolutionary. On Thursday, little shameless plug. Since I'm doing this kind of review, we're going to be talking about the hardcore reality that neither Satan nor Lucifer exist. They're made up.
Right.
Yeah. It's just that we assign.
If they are real, you know what they are to me? Lucifer would be the angel that's good. You know, like when you see the cartoons when you're a little kid, you see the angel on the one shoulder and you see the devil on the one shoulder, which is your ego and your conscience. It's just that battle. It's an
if Lucifer existed, I'm going to tell you, I'd want to meet the cat. I really would.
God, yeah. I got a lot of questions.
But you know what? He would or she would have the answers. I'm reading this book called The Serpent and the Goddess, by the way. Fantastic freaking book here on how the patriarchal evolution eroded what was initially here, the feminine.
You know what I keep seeing lately, and you're doing a lot of this, is stimulating this in my brain. You know, you're talking about the barium and aluminum
ball,
and how it makes ball. So that they're putting ball over our head, and then Lucifer is sulfur. It's sulfa. It's that chemical. So I keep seeing this correlation between these entities being directly connected to the alchemical processes within our body through these elements that they are masters over.
Aren't our bodies the same way? I mean, if you deplied your body of chloride, salt, you're going to drop dead.
For sure. Yep.
I mean,
I've seen
we don't
with this.
What is it? Only 23% of oxygen is what we actually breathe. The rest of it is nitrogen.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Is anyone seeing any of this? So if I alter those?
So I'm literally seeing, I wonder if like all of these entities might be attributes of these new elements causing alchemical processes within creation.
I think Tesla found them. I think he found them in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he went, oh crap, man.
My
They're
favorite
real.
researcher of all time.
Exactly. I love that guy.
Yeah, my
We
favorite.
have to realize too that sometimes if things are demonized, like Lucifer or this, we're in the upside down,
Right. And like Lucifer's mentioned once, and it was the light bearer. Really, that's not wrong. Lucifer never killed not one person.
Yeah,
And
that's
here's
where
the
I'm
thing.
kind of coming from. Like you really better get a little bit deeper personal experiential knowledge on it before you formulate, or else you become part of the program and then you just enforce the program without actually having, your own personal experience knowledge on it. So, that's part of growth is letting go of some of those programs, because it doesn't, to look at, say, like, I never grew up in religion, but I know a lot about it. Like, I don't even have to read the Bible, and I know practically every word in it. So it's like, to understand, it's just it's kind of like in this whole demigod process. We have to come to an understanding that some of them are fighting against each other too. Two wrongs don't make a right either. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll get on Thursday.
You're serious.
Yeah. And the thing about Lucifer, it literally in Latin, it means phosphorus, which is light. And the aspect of the other part is the bear. And folks, here's the thing. When Jerome was translating the Greek Septuagint into Latin, he inserted a Latin word that doesn't exist in the Hebrew.
Ooh. Wow.
And that's when he inserted Lucifer for the word Helel, Helel, which does not have any connotation with that at all. So anyway.
Wow.
So tune in on Thursday. It's going to be a mind blower. It really is. Kent, I have been honored to have you on. I'm going to have you back on again. Keep warm up there in Canada. I did not know that you were in Canada, but that's a great place.
I am, yeah.
Love the place up there.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you for all the work that you do for everyone out there. You're a leader. You're a frontline dude, and that's what we need. We need to be bold. We need to be on the front lines. We don't need to worry about being criticized or condemned. We're here to learn, and we're here to grow, and sometimes that means letting go of things that we once thought were correct.
Yeah, and I watch you over on Brian's channel. Brian, good channel over there. When someone does the backstabbing or the talking, I was a Boy Scout. So those are just merit badges. You're just filling my sash up because, when I get over to the other side, I'm going to say, suckers, see? Miss Trina, you want to take us out? By the way, Merry Christmas, Happy holiday to everyone. Trina, I'll let you give us the last word.
Okay, well, Wayne and Kent, it was awesome to be here with you as well. And like I said, you guys have made my life so full and so blessed. And this journey of learning, first of all, what is this world? What is God? What is religion? What are we? We're learning so much about what's been hidden from us. And we're starting to remember that which of us is sacred and truly gifted. So embrace our potentials, embrace the possibilities that we can create together as a collective, because I do know this. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So I love you all. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy everything. And may your holidays be festive and joyful and filled with favor.
Yes. And always remember, folks, your point of view is only your point of view. I'm seeing some comments in there. So respect everyone. I like what the Pope said. We have to get to this place and this planet where we respect everybody's beliefs, whether it goes against or goes with. So peace, everyone. Y'all stay with us, and we'll see everyone on Thursday. And be good to yourself. All right, folks. Bye-bye.